Hello, hello, testing, 1, 2, am I being heard? Yeah, it seems like I am. Alright, I haven't streamed in a while. I've just been kind of busy with a lot of stuff, mostly a lot of school work, you know how it is. So I figured I wanted to get back in the habit a little bit, and learning GODOT? Should be Godot, right? Learning GODOT Engine. Godot. Godot? Okay. Yeah, learning this game making engine sounded like a good excuse to pick it back up, and my microphone is speaking a lot. Huh. Am I speaking louder than usual than I used to? I guess that's possible. Yeah, just learning the GODOT engine seemed like a good excuse. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. Yeah, and so it should be fun. So, I guess the first thing that we're going to be learning is how the fuck this name is pronounced. Just because I just struggled a lot. How do you say, Google, GODOT Engine? How do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce GODOT as in the GODOT Engine? Is GODOT a word? How do you pronounce GODOT Engine? This is a video. What do you say, person? On the internet? Really? Really? Hold on. How do you pronounce GODOT Engine? 3 minutes? I'm sorry, do we need that much?
Pretty good variety of responses like Godot, Gado, Godo, Gouda. So there's clearly some disagreement, and a quick Google search will give you a lot of the same variations.
Okay, fucking get to the point, my guy.
So I thought, let's figure this out. Once and for all, how do you pronounce? So let's start with the variations that are really common. There's Godot, 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 and the one that I used, Gado. And I'll add a quick disclaimer here. However you want to pronounce it is fine, except for Gouda, that's just wrong. Maybe eventually one pronunciation to rule them all will win out, but for now, you do you. But let's give this a shot, or at the very least, get a little bit more guidance. And if we want to find out the correct way to say this name, we need to know where the heck this name comes from. Juan Linietsky, one of the creators of the engine, attributes the name to the Samuel Beckett play, Waiting for You Know Who.
This is very similar. You probably have read or seen the play by Samuel Beckett, Waiting for Godot. The situation was like they were always waiting for Godot, to have some feature or something. People always want more and more things, and this kind of this is why it's called like this.
And is also found in the documentation of the engine online.
Juan, here's a really good question. How does the founder of the engine pronounce the engine?
I don't really know. That's also got me by surprise. People started asking how you pronounce it, and I was like, I don't know, just like the play.
Okay, so nobody fucking knows. Alright. Fucking, just 3-minute video to say nobody knows. Goddamn. Stay at home dev at YouTube. I'm saying your name totally not to promote you, right? Because I feel like I played your video, I probably kinda should. But like, come on, Jesus Christ. Just say you don't know. Far be it from me to judge anybody else's fucking YouTube hustle, though. Anyway. Where we were. Yeah, we're going to be trying to learn Godot. Godot. I'm gonna say Godot. I'm gonna pronounce it Godot. Nobody knows, so it's as right as everybody else. Yeah, that's gonna be the theme of this stream. Going to be trying to learn Godot. And now I know a couple of things already, which is pretty nice. I know more or less how it works. I've had a couple of classes in college, like an elective for it, so I kind of know like the very basics, but like, let's get some actual skill. And I figure that if I'm going to be, because at least the way that I learn, I find it difficult to learn through tutorials. Either I will, I find it easier to have something to work on and then read like documentation and stuff, right? And just apply things as I go along. So I figure that if we're going to be doing that, I might as well do the thing that I was already doing on the other streams and recreate a game that I previously made that I want to make again but a little bit better, but do it in Godot instead of in Unity. So we're going to be creating this new project that is going to be called Bullet Heaven. I almost wrote it with the wrong V. Bullet Heaven. That's going to be what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be recreating that game, hopefully. And I would really appreciate if you didn't just show my file structure on the stream. It's not like there's anything there that's like a problem, but oh my god, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Okay, whatever. I mean, like, what if my full name isn't there, right? I don't want that shown. Okay, let's just... That's not the screen, it's this screen. My god, full of happiness this stream. Okay, let's put this. Where do I want it in the desktop because I have a folder for this kind of thing. Let's just have it be here, and then I'll create a new folder. So it'll be bullet heaven. Yeah, but like I was saying, I already know a couple of things, right? So it's enough to get started. Renderer, forward mobile compatibility. Version control metadata, just keep it as Git. Probably not gonna be using it, but let's just leave it as the default. The default should be fine. It's taking a while to start up, huh? Anyway, yeah, I have some good things that I like about what I've seen from Godot. For starters, GT script is a loosely formatted? It's not formatted. Is what do you call it? Where basically variables don't have to have a type assigned to them, and you can kind of mix and swap as you need them, which is very comfy. It's what I'm used to from programming in Lua years ago. It's also just very lightweight. Like, look, it already started, right? Unity would have taken a while to get this far, right? Unity obviously has a lot of features, but you know, Godot is open source, which means that it has exactly as many features as someone bothers themselves to fucking make and you bother to add, right? But more importantly, it's free. It's just free. Can't beat that. Unity technically isn't, you know? Like, well, they'll let you use it, but if your shit sells well, which to be fair, my shit isn't selling well, so it doesn't make a difference for me, but just having that sort of assurance that comes with free open source software, right? Which doesn't mean that it can't make money. Anyway, here it is, the engine, the beautiful Godot engine. I can say, just as a first impression, and this is not my actual first impression, right? Like I said, I've learned about this before. I really like the really square user interface. It's a very nice look. I like it. Like, I find that a lot of things just are trying to look very minimalist, but when they use like beveled edges and stuff, it doesn't do it for me, you know? Like, when you do the really minimalist look, it just, to me, it kind of feels like fake minimalism. I don't know. It's a really silly personal preference, but yeah. So anyway, this is where you start with, and yeah, so our objective here is to recreate that game that I made before, the one that's called Bullet Heaven. One of the things that's very nice is that you have a 2D scene and a 3D scene, and they're two separate scenes. So, like, unlike Unity, which is a 3D engine that lets you do 2D, but really that just means that it has a way to display things nicely, like in that 2D kind of way, but really they're just in the 3D world on the zero plane, right? So everything is still kind of rendered in 3D in this weird way, right? This is actually 2D, like there isn't any depth to this, and you can have those two independent. So, Bullet Heaven is a 2D game, so we're primarily going to be using this. However, I think that I'm gonna have some use for this somewhere down the line, just to have some really neat visual effects, right? Another thing that I like about Godot from what I've seen is UI design. UI design is pain for me, but the way that I've seen it work in Godot is like, it kind of does a lot of things easier, because it lets you have like styles that you can save, and then each UI element just references that style, so you can, it's like CSS, right? But anyway, let's kind of get started. So everything in in Godot works with scenes, right? Which are different from Unity scenes. That is to say, every object, rather than being an object, is kind of a scene, right? Or rather, it's a... I know what I mean, but it's difficult to explain it. So first we should have one that is just the stage, right? So let's just create a new folder. This is going to be stages. I think I'll probably have just the one, but let's make it a folder anyway. And in here, this is the stage. It's going to be a 2D scene because this is what this is. Now this is the way it works, right? You have this node 2D. Another thing that is nice about Godot is that unlike Unity, everything has a transform, so everything is placed somewhere in the world, and frequently you'll have objects where that is completely irrelevant, right? But they're still somewhere, and it just feels a bit cluttery. In Godot, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. So like this is a node 2D, so this one has a position in space. But if I were to create, say, within this, add a animation player, that's just an animation player. It doesn't have position in the scene because it doesn't need to. All this thing does is manipulate some other thing in order to animate it, right? Another thing is that everything has like a script, or rather everything can have a script, or everything can only have one script, which kind of forces you into this way of working where you have sub-objects for your objects. But if object, or rather each node is kind of thought to be like its own functionality, right? So it kind of makes the code a little bit neater, at least if you're orderly about that sort of thing. But in order to implement Bullet Heaven the way that I've done, the first thing that I would want to do is probably just the background. This node 2D is the root node for the level, right? So let's just call it stage, right? And this is the one that we're going to be saving. Just instantiated scene. Editable copy, duplicated using the file system context menu to create. Okay, so that doesn't work how I thought it did. Let's create a new scene. Yeah, it's 2D scene. This is going to be just stage, right? Wait, hold on, I'm silly. I can just Control S. There you go. So yeah, in stages, this is the stage. So it is there. This is our scene. The first thing that this should probably just have a background, right? We're gonna have this. So let's just. Do I have? Please don't open it in the fucking thing. Okay, so where do I have it? I should have located these assets before starting stream. Although to be honest, since I haven't streamed in a while, this is just gonna serve as a test stream. So it's probably gonna be shorter than my usual. Where is... I do have the assets somewhere. Oh, here they are. Okay. Good. So, let's just copy the background for now, and then we'll think about... Actually, let's create a folder for it first. I'm going to need a folder. It's going to be... assets. And let's, within these assets, create a new folder that's going to be backgrounds. Even though I only have the one, maybe I'll want another one sometime later. So let's just... Then in here, we're going to put this. And let's rename it just to background 1. Right. So now I can probably drag this and place it, and it'll do drag and drop. Oh, that's a good explanation. Okay. Drag and drop to add as a sibling of selected node, except when root is selected. Hold shift when dropping to add as a child. Hold alt to add as a child of the root. And alt plus shift to add as a different node type. Alright, so it's going to assume sprite 2D, but it can do other things if I hold the thing. Okay, let's just put it here. So this is our background, right? And since this is the screen's actually... How do I set the screen size? That would be a good thing to be sure of. Editor settings. Now these are the settings for Godot. Project settings. That's nice. That's exactly like Unity. Config. Name localized. What does that mean? Oh! Okay, I don't need to mess with that right now, but version, icon, advanced settings, run, put splash, display window. Okay, so what's our width and height? We should probably do HD, right? So 1920 by 1080. But except if I'm gonna do that, then it probably should be full screen, right? How do I do multiple resolutions anyway? If it's full screen, it's going to be just whatever resolution the screen is, right? Initial position, initial screen, resizable, borderless. Well, if it's full screen, then it's not borderless anyway. It's already borderless anyway. Like, that doesn't apply. Stretch. Oh, okay, so this is where you check that kind of thing. Scale mode. Landscape. Okay, let's just not touch those for now. Advanced settings. Yeah, there's even more things that I don't want to touch. Okay, close. Okay, so it is my understanding that Godot checks positions from the top left corner. So the position of this is not actually here, but here. So if I put this to 0, 0, yeah, never fucking mind, I totally had that wrong. Okay, so if that's the case, then the position that I'm gonna want is going to be like that top right left corner. It's going to be like yeah, I will need to get the height and the width of this. So open it. Oh, 1024 by 1024. Okay, that's nice. So it's 1024 divided by 2. 1024 divided by 2. That's multiplied by 2 divided by 2. And 500 because it's the same. Okay, so it's that. I probably want the scale a bit higher. Right, but if I do that, then I lose the thing. So okay, just question. What happens if I click play? Yes, I want this to be the main scene, right? I was watching La Malicious, one of her shorts, right? And she's talking about how VTube Studio actually kind of has a fair amount of latency into it that it doesn't resolve for, which, like, I mean, to be honest, how could it, right? And so what she does is set that up in OBS, and I figure that I should probably do the same because, like, my model is super simple, but there is still some noticeable latency just because I'm doing the face capture on the same device, which I shouldn't, but my phone's not good enough. Yeah, I don't have an iPhone. And so, can I just do that? Oh, I can. Okay, nice. So I want something like this, right? Let's do, since this is 1.8, let's just do it at even 1.9. On both axes, yep, like that. And that's gonna be sort of good enough. We're not aiming for a 1-to-1 relation. Okay, so what I was saying, just talking about how you have to set up that latency in OBS, and it's fairly easy to do, but you have to kind of taste it, like record a video, listen to it, you know, all that stuff. And I probably should do that because it's not that much effort. And I thought of doing that before starting today, and then I felt like so lazy about it. Like, oh my god, am I really gonna do that for 0 viewers? No, I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, so this is what we have, right? Just our lone background. So the way that this works is that you have, like, yeah, so each component, or rather each type of node, is just itself, but it inherits from a certain amount of things. So, for example, this is a 2D node. That's what this circle means, and it is a node 2D. It inherits from canvas item. Canvas item? Really? Inherits from canvas item and inherits from node, right? And this one is a sprite 2D, which inherits from node 2D, which inherits from canvas item, which inherits from node, right? It's very object-oriented programming, which I've got on record as not liking, but that's a whole different issue. It's not that I don't like doing OOP. It's not that I don't like OOP. It's that I don't like doing it for no reason, you know? Not everything I can do warrants it, but whatever. Completely different subject. But anyway, this inherits from this, inherits from this, inherits from this, right? This node 2D is not this node 2D, right? This is just the parent class for this, for sprite 2D, which means that these positions are not these positions. However, it works the same way as in Unity, where like the position of the parent and the scale affect the scale of the children, because it cascades down, right? This is considered part of this, so when this is bigger as well. It is the same scale within the stage, but it's a different thing. So, this is our background. Let's rename it to, can I rename it here? Yeah, to just background. And then, okay, so the first thing that we need to do for that little game is going to be a little player, right? Our little player. Which means that we should, that one should probably be its own scene, right? Regardless of the fact that I'm only going to have one of them, it would just make the hierarchy easier if it was its own thing. And also it's like a separate object, isn't it? So let's just do that. We're going to create a new scene. Yeah, let's just organize this a bit better. Let's have an object that is just scenes, and it's difficult to get used to the nomenclature being different from Unity's, where like a scene is just a space and then an object lives within it. A scene here is just an object and all of its hierarchy, right? Like its sub-objects that can either be a space or just an object, right? Here I have stages. Let's have another folder, and this is going to be entities. And our first entity is going to be the player. So let's create a new scene. This is going to be the player, and it is a 2D scene. I wonder what difference these do. No idea. Node? I could just make it a node? Oh, I can make it anything. I can make it anything I want. Oh. No, let's just have it be a node, a 2D node. Right, so this is our player, right? So let's zoom in because we don't want to be as far as the screen size for this one. The player should be very small. Let's check the folder again with the assets. I closed it for some reason. So in here, desktop, right, so one of these is the sprite sheet for the player. Oh, I don't have a singular sprite sheet for the player. Well, you know what? I should have a single sprite sheet for the player. So let's do that right now. Why not? It just makes things easier to work with, doesn't it? So let's go. We open paint.net here, and we have all of these things. Actually, that's a lot of sprites. What even is the difference between all of these? Some of these are probably repeats of each other, aren't they? Well, I'm gonna have to open them to check. Open each image, please and thank you. Okay, so what's the size of this? 160 by 32, so they're probably all 32 by 32 in terms of space. Sorry, what? I'm looking at this number right here, right? Oh, it grows beyond. Okay. Let's see. Why is it 31 on the vertical? Oh no, that's just the mouse position. Where's the size of the box? Oh, it's this one. Okay. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong number. Well, I was looking at this. I should have been looking at this. So yeah, it's every sprite is just the space for a sprite is just 32 by 32. How much is 32 times 160? Calculator, please. 160 divided by 32 is 5.12. Okay. How much is 32 times 5? 160. What? 160 divided by 32? 5. What the fuck did I type before? I must have typed it wrong. Okay. So yeah, the spaces for these sprites are 32 by 32, which is very nice. The person who did this for me, she knows what she's doing, right? Oh, this guy has a gun. That's probably the difference. He has a little gun. Not in all of them, though. Yeah, so these are just the same boy in different perspectives. They seem to be 4 each, except for when they're 5. And I know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 possible directions. Well, only some of them seem to have the gun. So let's just keep the ones that have the gun and get rid of all the others. Right? The gun ones are just the more complete ones. And I think all the gun ones are the ones that have 5 sprites anyway. So they are more complete in that regard as well. Yeah, if we are left with only 8... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, good. So we have 5 across and 8 below. So that's the size of our sprite sheet. It is... Where's my calculator? Yeah, 32 times 5. No, that's not. No. 32 times 5 is 160, so that's the width. 160. And my height is 32 times 8 is 256, which is a very nice number. Right, so this is the size of our sprite sheet. So then I take this, copy, paste. I take this, copy, paste. Oh, actually, it would be nice if there was a logic to it. So let's have it so that, since these are already the first 2, let's have it so that it's moving counterclockwise. Then I want not these. These. Select. Cut works. Paste. There you go. Then the one facing left. I don't want you anymore. The one facing left. Control, copy, paste. No. I closed it. I didn't mean to. I do want to close this and this. The one facing left as well. The one facing left down, which is the one that I just closed by accident. Which is down left, this one. Open. Copy, paste. Then down. Copy, paste. Then down right. Copy, paste. Right, then right, copy, paste. There we go. Okay. So this is going to be our spreadsheet. It's just nicer to have it all in only one thing. Save. So those are assets for all of my games. Okay, let's no, I wanna put it there. I just saved it as untitled, didn't I? Yep. That's not nice. Okay, we're gonna it's fine. We're gonna change that when it goes into GODOT anyway. Alright, so we wanna go here to these assets. We're gonna have a folder for sprite sheets. Anything that's a sheet of sprites. In you go untitled PNG, and we're going to change your name to player sprites. Actually, let's establish some sort of nomenclature anyway, just because. Actually, do I even need to? Since these come with the extension, it's not like I need to. They just have the extension on them, so I can just look at that. Player sprites, PNG. Okay. So, since this is the sprite sheet, we are going to want a sprite animator component. Actually, can the sprite component work off of a sprite sheet? Because that may be simpler for now. Let's add a node that is just that sprite. For it's a 2D node. Let's do just sprite 2D, and it just takes a texture. But any of these textures, so noise texture, placeholder, camera, animated, gradient, curve, mesh, atlas, image, viewport, canvas, viewport. I have no idea how this works. Compressed. Okay, and I assume that if I drag this, it's going to show the whole thing. Yeah. Animation. Hit frames, V frames. The number of columns in the sprite sheet. When this property is changed, frame is adjusted so that the same visual frame is maintained. Same row. Oh, height frames, horizontal frames, vertical frames. Okay, so do I get to put 5 and 8? Yeah, and then this should change the sprite. Yeah, okay, yeah. And then 39 is the maximum because that's 5 times 8. Okay. Okay, so let's just give this the default sprite that looks the prettiest. This one. Actually, just this one. Yeah, okay. That's first thing. Second thing, I probably wanted to not do this ugly anti-aliasing. So can I do that here? Re-import. In Unity, right, you do that in the inspector when you have the asset selected, but here that's not really a thing. So I wonder if that's a property of the sprite 2D. Compressed texture 2D. Ah, right, okay. So that's the thing about GODOT. It lets you edit things right here. So when you see this outline, this sort of bluish square, that means that you're not editing you're not, even though in the menu we're within the sprite 2D, the thing that you're editing is an outside thing, in this case, this texture. It's very similar to how Blender works, right? but a bit more pretty and easy to understand just on sight. A bit, but not a lot. Local to scene, no. Path, that. Name, that. Local load path, yeah. Right, so what we're editing here is the texture. Presumably this is a texture that is reusable. Asset sprite sheet, right, it's this one. It's the same location, so whatever this data is, it's contained within here in some way. At least that's what I'm assuming. Because you know, that's the path, right? Which probably means that I can't edit it, because that's just an image file. Can I give it a different name? No? All of these things are uneditable? Presumably they're editable when the texture is not from a file, right? Like if I make this empty, then I make this, like, I don't know, like a noise texture. Where is it? Noise, yeah, like that. Yeah, and then you have all these things that you can sort of edit. And here you can edit these because, right? Because they're not a file, they're just a thing that you're kind of making. Okay, good to know, good to know. So let's just go back to, let's use this again. How do I make it so that you render this without anti-aliasing? Actually, why am I trying to poke through the menus? I can just Google this stuff. GODOT. Render PNG without anti-aliasing. Anti-aliasing, GODOT. What options are there for removing the filter? Yeah, they're talking about fonts. In the basic UI, when you select an image, you can change tab to the import settings. Oh, I didn't even notice. Oh, these are the import settings. Okay, in Unity they are in the inspector, so that's just kind of where I looked. Also, where am I? There I am. Do I have like a focus key like in Unity? Yes, it's actually even the same key. Okay. Mode, lossless. Yes, channel pack. Mip maps, roughness. Nope. Source normal, fix alpha border. Alpha border? The multiply alpha, normal map inversion, HDR accessory, compress. Texture 30. No, those generate maps. I don't need those. Aren't those just for 3D? Okay, so within the import settings, where? Google? You go import as texture. And there is the filter in the flags. That is only as texture, not as texture 2D. Oh, this is an old version. Okay, where? Compress, mid-maps, roughness. Process. Detect 3D, reimport. Lossy. Yeah, you can see how it lost color. Do it lossless. Optimized. Okay, so but these are definitely the settings. Can I just import them as something else? Gotcha. Texture 2D array. Generates. Well, no, actually. Yeah. Actually, if I say texture to the array, that's gonna generate all the textures that I want, right? So I want like 5 vertical slices and 5 horizontal slices and 8 vertical slices. Yes, I know. And then that should be 35 different textures, right? If I've understood this correctly. So like you go back. Texture to the new texture to the quick load. Alright. It's an array of textures, right? So, right, because this doesn't take an array of textures, this only takes one texture because it's the sprite renderer. That is an odd way for it to work, actually. Okay, just do the thing, actually. Just make it one singular texture. It's odd that I can't access the individual textures from the array just directly, just, you know. Okay, so I'm getting distracted. Where is the friggin' the filter? Map maps, yes, but there's no filter. But there clearly is, because I'm looking at it, right, and it looks blurry. Is that in here somewhere? Texture, local path, that, resource, all that, script, reference counted. Nope. Compressed texture 2D? Why is it compressed? This object is read-only. Compressed to? Right, it's because I compressed it there. Right. How do I disable anti-aliasing on GODOT 4? And that's purely me getting distracted by playing with the menus, which, to be fair, is how you learn to use the tools, right? The texture filtering settings is now located in the project settings, rendering textures default texture filter. You do no longer define it per texture. All nodes that inherit from canvas item have a textures category where you can override this setting. Node 2D and control have a textures category. Okay, let's try that first. Project settings, rendering, probably advanced settings. I am on rendering, right? Rendering, yes. Probably, right. This rendering, not that rendering. It's the rendering category. Rendering textures, default texture filter, nearest. Right, there you go. But how do I disable it, override that now? Because that changed the default. How do I... and then it said all nodes that inherit from canvas item. So sprite 2D inherits from canvas item. Oh, here. Right, okay. Well, I'm gonna want it to be the default, to be nearest on default, but it's good to know that I can override it, because I am going to need that to do that at some point. Okay, so we can control which frame is showing by, you know, playing with this value. And yeah, so this is going to be our little player. This player should bump into things, right? Which means that it's going to need a thing that allows it to do that. Which is, I think, a collision shape 2D. Now it provides a shape 2D to a collision object 2D parent. Okay, so it needs a collision object 2D then. Collision object 2D abstract base class for 2D physics objects. Physics body 2D for game objects affected by physics. I don't want it to be affected by physics, right? And the movement for this should be very script controlled. A region of 2D space that detects other collision object 2Ds entering or exiting it. This sounds like what I want. And now this one is complaining because it has no shape, right? This node is only the collision. It only handles the collision, it doesn't actually handle the shape of it, which is the equivalent of having no, I understand it, right? And then I should add a collision shape or polygon as a child that gives it a shape, because otherwise it doesn't do anything. So let's do that then. Collision shape. I want it to be a shape, it should be like a square, right? Just nothing more complicated than that. And now this is complaining because it needs a shape. And the shape that I want is a rectangle. A shape is a thing that you can just save here, right? And you can create one and then reuse it. But for this guy, it should probably be just a little shape. 10 pixels feels a bit too big. Let's make it 2x2. Right? Something like this. And then it should be on position around here. The idea is that it's sort of at its heart. So let's do like 6 around here. It's very tiny, but that's it. That's because this is a bullet hell game, and just, you know, if you're gonna have really impressive and tight bullet patterns, then you need to make the players collision area for them very tiny. And in this case, right, it also it's that sort of game design thing where, like, it always feels good when the game cheats in favor of the player, and never the other way around. So you should cheat in favor of the player, right? That doesn't mean that you don't get to make a game hard, but it does mean that you get to make a game look a lot harder than it actually is, right? Really, this is like, honestly, I've seen so many bullet hells that just, or not even bullet hells, actually, just this kind of vertical shooter, or you know, it's sort of like Raiden, right? That kind of thing. That sort of game. And shoot 'em ups. That's what I'm thinking. I've seen so many shoot 'em ups done by just people, amateur, usually on Flash, where, like, it feels like shit, and it's purely because of this, right? Like, it's only because of this. This is like the easiest thing to solve is the thing. Okay, so custom solver bias. I have no idea what this is. What is this? Let's learn. What are you? The shape's custom solver bias defines how much bodies react to enforced contact separation when this shape is involved. Don't give a shit. I don't know what it is. I don't care. Disabled one. I gotta say, it's a bit silly to have a check for disabled. I don't like having it be true when disabled. It should probably be enabled and be on by default. One-way collision. What does this mean? Stats whether this collision shape should only detect collision on one side, top or bottom. Oh. High values will make the shape thicker and work better for colliders that enter the shape at high velocity. Okay. How do I change the shape? The side, rather? This property has no effect if this collision is child of an area 2D node. Actually, that's a good thing. What's the difference? Why would I use an area 2D and not just the collision shape? What does collision shape actually do? Provides a shape 2D to a collision object to the parent. The collision object to the parent is either the physics body. Oh, right. So, yeah, the one-way collision doesn't do anything when you're using just area, right? Because area is just a non-physics version. It's in Unity, it will be a kinematic rigid body, right? So that's sort of the equivalency here. I'm gonna have to learn these things. Also, let's just rename these nodes because sprite, and let's have it be the kill area, right? Kill area. Because this is the thing that if a bullet just dies, I may want another area for colliding with like the walls, right? So that the guy doesn't go halfway off the screen. And then collision shape, let's just leave that as collision shape. Okay. So yeah, this is our collision shape. And then we have this player. The player... It feels a bit uncomfortable that the root position of the player is not really here. Right, so I wonder if I can offset that. I'm really offset it just by moving this up, right? So let's move it, just transform Y position up to like, let's see, if you're at 0, you're there, so I want it to be here. So I want to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units down. So -6. There you go. And now the same for the kill area, right? It should be relative. So -6, like this. Actually, doesn't it also feel odd for the kill area's position to not be in the middle of the thing? So this one should probably be at 0. And then this one should be at -6. And this one should be at 0 as well. There you go. Yeah. Now I have the root positions where I want them. So, we have this. Let's make it so that this boy can move, right? That's a nice thing to just sort of introduce myself to scripting in this. Well, first of all, let's place this boy in our scene. So I do that by just dragging the player right here to this hierarchy. Drag and drop to add as a sibling of the selected node. Hold shift when dropping to add as a child. Hold alt to add as a child of the root. Right. So does he exist? Yes, he does. It's just very tiny. Okay, so we have to adjust for that a little bit. Transform. Its scale should probably be a lot bigger. 10 is too much. 5. Yeah, that feels about in line. I gotta say, I do have a bit of a problem with the texture for this. The pixel art is I like the pixel arty look, but it's kind of pixel size inconsistent with the background that she drew. But well, I can live with that. If the background is the only element that looks like that, then it actually kind of does a bit of a nice contrast, doesn't it? Um. So we have our boy right here. See, the thing that I'm wondering is if I go to the player and I change its scale right here to 5, does that make the stage one move differently? No. So this doesn't tag like a default scale, does it? It's just that information is saved on the stage scene. If I instantiate another player, will it instantiate with scale 1? I wonder. Well, we can figure that one out later. Okay, so we have our player. He should move. In order for him to move, I'm gonna need inputs, right? I'm gonna need to hold inputs. I have input map here. I want to add actions, right? So what should this act? How do actions kind of work? Movement? Will movement be one action, or do I want one action for each direction? Movement, that's zone 0.5. Okay. And how do I keyboard keys? Let's say W, and this. A. So yeah, these actions are going to be one per. So that's gonna make it so that they're all. How do I? What happens if I add an action? If I add as a key a joypad, right? Axis. Oh, so it does it by axis, by axis. 3 down, 4 down, left stick down, joystick 0 down, right stick down, joystick 1 down, right trigger. What if I press it? Like I have my control connected, so what if I start pressing here? No, it doesn't know. Joypad axis. Okay, so it's per button. It's the axis 0 or plus. So these are not going to spit like a vector 2. These are just going to be one thing. Okay, so then I don't want a movement. I want a left and a right and then up and then down. Let's just keep it simple for now. So left. Wait. Oh, it is listening. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Okay. I want left is A. Let's just make it A. 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 There you go. A. Right is D. D. Up is W. Down is S. And let's also, just for testing, add the arrow keys, which it should be left, right, up, down. And then let's also add, again for testing, the joystick. So up, down, left, right. Okay. So we have that. And now we should be able to make the script sort of react to that. And that's going to take a lot of Googling because I'm not used to programming in GGScript. Which, I mean, I know there's a version of Godot that you can download that works with C Sharp. And I should probably get that because I'm used to programming in C Sharp. But here's the thing, I like GTScript. I like the typing being soft. Or is it called soft typing? I think it's called soft typing. I like the soft typing. I like the that you get to have arrays with different variable types inside, right? Which, to be fair, you kind of do in C Sharp, but in a way that I don't like. It's just different. And also it's kind of nice that the code editor is integrated in the engine, in the editor. So let's see. We have this thing, this player script, and we wanted to move the player, right? So it should be on the player. It should be. Oh fuck! Oh shit! Okay. So it shouldn't be. Oh. Yeah, let's ask Google for this one because this feels like a really basic thing that somebody would answer. Godot, where should I put my movement script? Just as a general tip. Best way to do character movement. Sure, that works. Good evening, I was recently working on character and I was unsure about the best way to make it work. The best way to implement functional movement. Currently my code is this. Looking at it, I already feel it's way better than the first version I made. It's a lot of code. Character body. Oh, hold on, you extended a character body 2D. So which one is character body 2D and what does it do? Because maybe that's what I want to be using. Character body. Where is it? Character body 2D. A 2D physics body specialized for characters moved by script. Oh, but that isn't physics body. This one have collision? And also, what difference does it have? Like, what do I get from using this instead of just a shape, right? Grounded floating, up direction, slide on ceiling. Oh, it has a bunch of functionality. It's like extra. Okay, let's add a script to this and just check it out on the... Also, I totally misspelled the entities. Entities. No, that's not how you spell it. How do you spell it? Entities. No, it's entities. No, I spelled it right the first time. Stupid. Okay, let's add a script to this. Oh, you have a template. Oh. Do you already have written stuff in this script? I want a script folder. No, if I'm gonna have folders for all these things, then I probably want it to be within So let's have it be player movement. Player movement GD. Right, and then we're gonna have a folder for the player that we're gonna put all those things in. So let's actually do that right now. Player, just take you to and drag you there. Right, and you have a speed and a jump velocity. For each physics process. Right. I don't want you to use gravity because this is sort of top down. Sort of. Like the perspective isn't, but the gameplay kind of is. Actually, can you see when I do that? Yeah, you can. Oh, okay. Good thing I didn't have like fucking embarrassing desktop wallpaper. It's fucking Winry. She's amazing. Okay. I love her. Let's see. Right, so this is just kind of a default, isn't it? Just so if I click floating, does that default script change, I wonder? Do you have a different default script, or rather template script for that? Remove. I don't want you to have that script. Create another one. Right? It should be the same template. Let's just do player movement GD. And this is the same. It's the same template. Okay. Remove the script and delete it. Actually, no, keep that script. Keep that script. I want to use it to look at it, but we're going to have it just as a reference. So we're going to call it ref. Just all caps so that I remember to delete it later. And you are doing a bunch of stuff that I don't want, right? But here's the thing. Okay, so the things that character body adds, right? The things that it has that just collision shape and kill and area 2D don't. It's a specialist class for physics objects that are meant to be user controlled. They are not affected by physics at all, but they affect other physics bodies in their path. They are mainly used to provide high-level API to move objects with wall and slope detection. In addition to the general collision detection provided by physics body 2D move and collide. This makes it useful for highly configurable physics bodies that must move in specific ways and collide with the world, as is often the case with user-controlled characters. For game objects that don't require complex movement or collision detection, such as moving platforms, animatable body 2D is simpler to configure. Floor block on wall, floor constant speed, floor max angle. So these are the properties that character body 2D has and that I can use in a script. Velocity, which is a vector 2. Velocity. Okay. These are all the methods. Enumerations. Oh, okay, so this should make things easy for me then. Platform on leave. Add the last platform velocity to the velocity when you leave a moving platform. Wait, this is just like impulse. They just have it here. On leave at upward velocity. but any downward motion is ignored. It's useful to keep full jump height even when the platform is moving down. Yeah. Leave do nothing. Right, okay, but this is for 2D, for side-scroller platforms shit. So here, okay, so... Okay, I think I sort of understand. So I can just modify this, right? And if I modify this, it'll just start moving. Current velocity vector in pixels per second. Use the modifier during calls to move and slide. Oh, use the modifier. Okay, so this still has to be called manually, but it will use this velocity when I set it. So this doesn't receive the velocity, so I don't have to calculate it. I can just store it as a variable within the... Okay, and then move and slide. It moves the body based on velocity. If the body collides with another, it will slide along the other body, by default only on floor, rather than stop immediately. If the other body is a character body 2D, or body 2D will also be affected by the motion of the other body. You can use this to make moving and rotating platforms, or to make nodes push other nodes. Modifies the velocity if a slide collision occurred. To get the latest collision, call get last slide collision. For detailed information about collisions that occurred, use get slide collision. When the body touches a moving platform, the platform's velocity is automatically added to the body's motion. Collision occurs to the platform's motion, it will always be the first in the side collisions. The general behavior is available properties change according to the motion mode. Okay, so I still want this skill area, but that is only going to be for bullets. For this one, I want to give it another collision shape, and this one is going to be just bigger. This was going to be the player. So, let's give you a collision shape 2D. Right here. And this collision shape 2D is going to have the shape of a new rectangle, and this rectangle is going to be probably like this size. Right. This size. This is only for colliding with like the walls and the ends of the stage. Which actually, I kind of want to make sure that this works for all the sprites, so let's check them just sort of one by one. Wait, this is kind of troubling. Because if it goes up and down, he just sort of escapes the collision. I could modify the sprite so that he doesn't go up and down, but I get the logic in the animation on making it go up and down though. Because if it goes up, if it doesn't go up and down, then it just sort of looks like it's that's what gives weight to the wing flapping, right? Is this small motion. But I can't just start moving the collision squares every single time. Okay, for this square it's easy. I can just make this much shorter and this much shorter, right? And then it'll always be inside it kind of no matter what, right? Because if it's going up and down, then right here the feet are touching, here the head is touching. For the sides, the thinnest sprite is this, so let's adjust this shape according to that. And then on the other side it should just be the same, right? And then I have this, right. The thing that is troubling is this one, right, though, because this one, it does kind of have to be inside of the little guy. What I could do is, keep this guy further up, so like move it up, right? Move it like, oh, shit. Move it like up here, so -2. And yeah, let's move the whole player to that position as well. So to like here. -2. No, +2. plus 4. Alright, you fucker, you're scaled to plus 5, so scale 5 times. Okay. So then, yeah, the player should be, let's just put the player 0.0.0. Then we're gonna put the sprite in. This is just me being fuzzy. This is all this is. This is just me being fuzzy. I'll admit it. So the player sprite is, if we put the sprite in 0, right, it'll be here. I want it to be like centered, like, yeah, right there. So I want it to be centered like here. So -4. And this scale area has to be like at 0. And then this character body, this collision shape should be in like about here, I think, -2. The character body is just right there. So this one is centered, but the square isn't. That's just because it looks nicer to me. Okay, so does this work with all the sprites? Let's check. No, the square is a bit too far down. It should be 1 unit up, so -3. There you go. And now it should work with all the... Yep. Yeah, the square is never bigger than the guy, right? And there's a reason for me wanting to this one to be bigger. And it's that this is the wall collision. So this is going to be the wall collision. We're gonna make this just I'm gonna rename this to player mover, right? Player mover. This is gonna be the wall. Just call it collision shape, actually. Yeah, player mover. And this one is going to be in charge of moving the player, right? It won't move just this node, right? It'll move the whole player, right? Or do I have to specifically tell it that that's what I want to do? No, you're just putting move and slide in there, so that should be okay. Okay. Actually, let's just call it wall collider. Wall collider, right? Well, it's also the player mover, though. Yeah, let's just call it player movement or player movement or movement. Movement works. I know what I mean. And then let's just create a new script that we attach to this thing that is in the player that is called player movement GD or GD script. Right. I don't want the template. Actually, I do. Let's use the template. Constant speed. Right. So let's just forget about the jump. Jump doesn't exist. We don't care. We don't like it. We want velocity, get gravity. We don't need the gravity. Get the input direction and handle the movement and deceleration. As good practice, you should replace UI actions with custom gameplay actions. Right. What does UI left mean, anyway? Get access. Gets access by specifying 2 actions, one negative and one positive. This is shorthand for writing input get action strength, positive action, input get action strength, negative action. Okay, I do not understand what the UI left and UI right mean, but it sounds like we don't really care. Here, direction is type vector2, isn't it? Right, and it's changing velocity x, and I should do the same for velocity y. Oh, direction can sometimes be null, isn't it? Because that's what if does when it's when you, because direction is not a pool, right? Or can input get axis return false? It returns a float. Float? Yeah, a float. That makes sense. It's not a vector2, it's a float. Okay, so yeah, input get action strength, yeah, it's the same as that. String name. Oh, this is some nerd shit. I don't need to know any of this. Right. So then, okay, so the thing that I'm kind of struggling to understand is what is this UI left? So let's Google that. What is GODOT? What does UI left mean? I'm gonna replace it, but I need to kind of know. This page is up to date for GODOT 4.3. Oh, these are the GODOT the documentation for GODOT. This is nice. Okay, this page is up to date for 4.3. If you still find outdated information, please tell us. Okay, this section UI button, a theme button that can contain. No, this is UI. Okay. No, I don't think this is what I want. I want to know why this is this. Like that specific string. Okay, I'm finding no explanation on how to what's the C# look? Yeah, no, I don't like that as much. However, it is clear more flexible to use the provided input math feature, yeah, which is the thing that I did before, the one with where I went in there and I checked all the keys. It allows you to define input actions and assign them different keys. This way you can define multiple keys for the same action. The keyboard escape key and the start button on the gamepad. You can then more easily change this mapping in the project settings without updating your code, and even build a key mapping feature on top of it to allow your game to change the key mapping on runtime, which Unity took ages to include. Let's see, your input. Yeah, I've already done that. So, and then use those actions like this. UI write. So wait, hold on. Is UI write just the name of a specific action that comes by default? Yes, it fucking is. Yeah, I'm saying all the UI actions. Okay, so then that means that I can just write these names, right? I wrote with uppercase, which I probably shouldn't have. Let's fix that. Left, right, up, and down, right? Yeah, it was just a default name. Okay, so left and right. Actually, does it know how to complete? Yes, it knows exactly which one I mean. Okay, okay. Good. So now I have this direction. Let's call it horizontal direction. Actually, uppercase, lowercase. H direction. If H direction, then velocity x equals direction times speed. Right, H direction. And now here's the thing I'm wondering, like, what is this? Move toward is moves from, it's a float. It moves from to by the delta amount. Uses negative delta value to move away. So 5 move towards 10 by 4 returns 9. Oh, okay. So it's almost a lerp. It's not quite. That sounds useful actually. So it's moving the velocity x towards by the speed. Velocity x towards 0 by the speed. Hey, Nats. Oh, so the speed here is working also as a factor of decreasing. Wait, hold on. What is that? Well, much music can overlap, I think. Do you? Oh, fucking hell. Thanks for telling me. I had the desktop audio on. And because I'm monitoring the music, it was sending it twice. Thanks for telling me. So I've been writing music for like this other game, so I'm probably gonna set one of those as like a stream background music eventually. Although they're a bit too active to, you know, pumping, which may not fit the peaceful vibe that I clearly have going for myself. Right, so... Right, I don't understand why we're doing this move toward thing instead of... instead of just straight up setting it to 0. Because it feels like that should be the same thing. Like, I don't know if this is something that I'm missing or just this code being weird, because what you have is a velocity x that is being set to the speed, and this axis is not going to be bigger than 1, right, is it? It shouldn't be. The value should be clamped at -1 + 1. That's the whole point of the axis, right? Axis input by specifying 2 actions, 1 negative and 1 positive. Yeah, input get action strength, and input get action strength is... Yeah, that should be the thing. So then, yeah, we're getting this number and setting it to that. We're getting the velocity, and it's going to be set to... No, I see why it is. Yeah, it's because sometimes a thing may push the player. In that case, we want it to be reduced by the speed. But hold on, though. And it's still a very extreme... Because we're not accelerating, we're just setting it to that. And if we're moving it back to 0, instead of just setting it to 0, then why are we doing that? I don't get it. 0 to 0. Right? And then we want to do the same for vertical speed, so let's just copy this and paste it. But instead of H direction, this one's going to be vertical direction, right? Which actually we could just do it like this, just to make it neater. Neater. For some reason, I'm doing that thing a lot more. Just the British T sound. Okay, so the positive should be here. This is where I get confused, right? So Godot works a bit differently than Unity. Positive directions are down. So positive should be down in this case. The positive is, yeah, right. Which one's the positive? Is the first one or the second one? It's positive is the second one. Right, that makes sense because it's the same. You read left to right, like in the number line. So it should be up and down. And then, so we have that. And then the thing that we're setting is the Y velocity because we're doing vertical. And then we do move and slide. Right? Yeah. This is like Python in a way that I don't like. But that's just a matter of being used to it. So let's just set this apart. I don't like that I don't have like a closer here, you know, like this. But, you know, in Lua it was just the word end that served as a closer. Here you just undo the indentation, which is fine. It's just, I like it to be more visible. But I mean, that would be fixed just by having the editor show it more visible, right? Whatever, that's just something you get used to. Okay, so that should be the player able to move. Also, I don't want this to be a constant. I want this to be editable in the inspector, so let's export this variable. Let's put identifier in class body. What do you mean? Oh, yeah, it still has to be a bar. Okay, so now the player should be able to move, right? Let's see if that works. He's not moving. So, why may that be? Here, this player, he does have the script. Is doing this thing in physics process, right? Doing this whole thing in physics process, and then it's calling move and slide, right? It should work. What am I missing? The speed is 300. It's not like a weird zero. Ooh, hold on. Maybe this was the thing that I was afraid of, where it's moving the thing, but it's not moving the whole node. Let's give this its own sprite and check if that is actually the case indeed. Add a thing and make it a sprite. Just literally anything so long as it's visible. And put it, yeah, it's a child of movement. Make it like yeah, make it like one of these. Sure, whatever, doesn't matter. Save. Yep, that's exactly what is happening. It's moving the node that I put it on, but it's not moving the whole player. But actually, couldn't we just make that node the parent? So like, make this node the scene root, and then move this one here. Actually, okay, now take all of this, move it here, and kill the player. Right? So now we have a movement node. Well, since this is the parent now, this is going to be the player, and the player has its movement script, and it is a character body 2D, right? That has a collision shape, but then it has inside of it a area that has a different collision shape, and this should move all of it. And it has a sprite. This is just visual. I wanted to keep the collision shape right under it, just because that's going to, the collision shape belongs to the character body 2D. It's like an essential component of it, so I kind of want to keep them visually close in the hierarchy. Let's hope that that's not an issue. Okay, so that should mean that the player can move now, right? Yes, okay, it's moving. Okay, excellent. And since the thing that we're using to move it is a move and slide, that should mean that if I put like just a random collider somewhere in the stage, right? Let's say it's not called a collider. If I put a random collision shape 2D to a collision object 2D. So yeah, I wanna. Well, I was hoping that you would give me the collision object object. No, what? Okay, whatever. No, the collision. Oh, right, because I can't add this by itself. This is just a parent class. If I add a yeah, this is only detecting. This doesn't actually push or do things. You can make it do that, but you shouldn't, because there's things that do that. That's weird. Okay, it should be a static body, right? And this is just like a wall. Let's just call it wall. And then we give it a shape. So this is where you go, the shape, collision shape 2D, and we're gonna make it just like a square. So it's going to be a rectangle. And so this is just a testing, I don't really care. So let's just make it really big. And now the player should not leave the player. Yeah, it just bumps into it. From the up it leaves. And then, interestingly, I can also... It slides, right? So if I'm pressing up and down... If I'm pressing up and down while pressing left, it kind of slides up and down. So that's good. However, there's a thing I'm noticing, and that is that the movement is not normalized, right? Also, whoa, what? The controller is sideways? I'm pressing left, right, down. It's rotated. Why is it rotated? That's weird. Okay, I probably just set this up wrong then. Let's stick up. Yeah, I just said it wrong. Okay. Should be left. And this is right. And this is up. And this is down. Yep, I just said it wrong. Okay, so now it should work. Okay, that works. Issue is, though, that it is not normalized movement. So, moving diagonally is faster. Not on the controller, because the controller just already normalizes its own movement. Right? But, like, you know. Like, this is what it should be. But this is what it is. It moves a lot faster diagonally. That should be an easy thing to solve. It's a thing that fucking most games have to deal with, like, immediately, so... I can probably composite these as a vector too. Or composite the velocity as a vector too. Can I multiply a vector 2 by just a number? I should be able to. let's assume that I am able to. Let's so if I am able to, then what I can do is just give it like this, then normalize it to like 1. Okay, so this is a vector 2. A vector 2, can a vector 2 be normalized? Just does it have a method to do that? Aspect, normalize. Normalize is like a math function. So usually they'll have the same name. Normalized returns the result of scaling the vector to unit length. Yep. Okay, let's do that then. Normalized. So then we go to player movement. Velocity equals velocity point normalized, right? Like that. The velocity is now normalized, and then I multiply it by the speed. Does this do the C# thing? No. Okay, well, that's fine. Velocity times speed. Also, let's not do all uppercase. I get why the script did it. It's because it was a constant. And usually constants you name in all caps to distinguish them from other stuff, but here it doesn't quite. Actually, since that was the error, do I get to do that? The C# thing, actually? Oh, you can. Okay. Does it do the same thing? Probably, but let's just be sure. I can't tell. Hold on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, so like if I put this as marker, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm not good enough at doing it. Oh, sliding against the wall just returns you the whole vertical movement. It speeds up when it starts sliding. That's why I'm not seeing the effect. It is normalized. It is. It is. Yeah. Okay. Good. That means it works. So then, we've done successful movement for the player character. How does this segment shape work? Because if it works how I think it does, maybe I want to set it up. Okay, so it does work. Does it work from both sides? Yes, it does. Okay, so it's just a line that you can use as a collider. Okay, that... Can I use an array of these or something? New world boundary shape. Actually, world boundary. How does this one work? Is this what I think it is? Oh god. Just an eternal one? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, those are useful. Okay. So, can a static body 2D have multiple shapes and just create a more complicated shape that way? Or will that just fuck it up? collision shape 2D. Collision shape 2D only serves to provide a collision shape to a collision object 2D derived. No, oh, yep. Hold on. That's because its parent is a different thing. Shape must be provided for collision shape 2D to function. Please create a shape. Oh no, yeah, I already know that. Make it a world boundary, new world boundary. This one, yeah. This one is going to be like. Whoa! What the fuck did you do? Well, where are you going? It just kind of goes away to another dimension. Distance, custom solver bias, normal. Whoa! How do these numbers work? Okay, let's just make you a circle and see, just so I can see things a bit better. Like, see how this interacts with the idea of having two shapes within the same object. Does it just listen to only one of them? I probably shouldn't have put it off screen, right? Should I? Right here. Yep, it collides with one, it collides with the other. Oh, okay, so I can create more complicated shapes just by grouping a whole bunch of these. That's good to know. Okay, so we're gonna create a world boundary now. I want this to be in position, in distance. Distance should be 0, right? So then this wall is going to be like right in the middle. So it's going to be position transform by 12. By 12. Except not really. What's the size of the background? 970. Position is 970. Oh, but if this is the position, then that is the same. So 970 by 970. Like that. And then we're going to have these collision shapes that are each in a different place. So like over here, we're going to move your transform to position X 0 and position Y. Probably 970 if I had to guess. Yep. Let's move it a bit down. 971. Like here. It's not like it matters that it is pixel perfect. And this is going to be the down border. And then we're gonna have like 4 of these. Copy. Paste. No, I want to copy and paste. Can I really not copy and paste? Copy. Paste. Paste. I'm pressing Ctrl V. Why does it do set detect compress to? The shortcut that it says here that it should be Ctrl V. I'm pressing something different? What if I press the other one? Well, whatever. Paste a sibling. Paste a sibling. So I have 4, and this is going to be the up border, left border, and the right border. And so that's what we're gonna do. So then we have this, we're gonna take this, we're gonna put it like, instead of 973, we're gonna put it at minus 973. So it's at the other end, and we're gonna rotate it 180 degrees, so it's facing down. And then we're gonna do the same for this. It's going to be 973. This is the left border, so it should be 0 minus 973. Like here, it should be rotated 90 degrees. Yep, that is the right rotation. And here, 0 should be plus 973, but on the x-axis, and rotated minus 90 degrees. There you go. And that's our world borders. And we're gonna call it that. World borders. Right? I'm gonna put it here. And so that should make it so the player can't escape the area, right? It's just kind of here. Yep, that works. Oh. You can't see it, but I can see the top of the guy. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's a good start. The player should probably have a bit more speed than 300. Let's give it like 500. Yeah, sure. I mean, think about it. There's going to be like an enemy right here, right? And it's going to be taking up a whole bit of the screen. So this speed feels like... It feels reasonable to me. I mean, maybe during gameplay I'm going to decide that I don't like it, but I should be good. Okay. For our first stream, we have a character that moves. For somebody that doesn't know that much about Godot, that is not used to working on it, I'd say that's good progress. How long did that take us? 2 hours? And a bunch of that was just faffing about. Faffing about. Where is that term from? Is it British? When you have an accent like me, you get away with just mixing and matching, right? Don't you? But yeah, I'd say that was decent progress. That was pretty good. I would like to stream longer, but it's a bit late. I kind of started later than I wanted to. There was a bunch of stuff I needed to do. So since I'm just starting to get into the swing of things, let's just cut it short and end the stream here. I have fun. It was nice. Getting to learn new things is fun when you like what you're doing. And I like coding. I like making games. So it tracks, right, doesn't it? That means that's me done for today. Thank you for watching. I'll probably upload this to YouTube tomorrow. Bye-bye. Also, check my itch page. If you're seeing this, check my itch page. I upload games there semi-regularly. I have one. It's not very good, but I have it. And I have another before that is actually pretty good. Addictive. It doesn't have a lot of content, so you'll play it once and probably forget it. But you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy that one time. Probably, right? Play games. I like games. Play my games. Go on itch.io and find games that you haven't seen before. Play games by people that you don't know. Fucking download a Flash extension and play just old ancient ass Flash games. Go to a site that you don't usually go into and play. Just don't play fucking the same game that you've been playing for fucking 20,000 hours. You already know that you like that one. Find a new one that maybe you'll like even more. Be inspired. Find new